Hey, Matt. Thanks for doing this. I'm curious, we saw in the game more of Marcus Fleming and Xavier Betts for the first time. What did you make of each of their performances, and what's important for each of them going forward?
Yeah, really impressed when they got in and they played with confidence. First game jitters is every coach worries about that. The coaches, we worry about the basic fundamentals. Are we going to line up right? Are we going to run the right route? Are we going to block the right guy? And for the most part, they did that. And then secondly, are we going to play with great effort? And they did that too. So they did everything we asked of them. As a matter of fact, they probably superseded our expectations, and so they're going to continue to get more plays and more opportunities, and they're doing a good job in practice as well.
Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Hey Matt, how do you guys create more big plays?
It's a combination of things. Yeah, that's not an easy. It's a good question. It's not an easy answer. Getting the ball in playmakers' hands that can make explosive plays. A lot of big plays are made by when you might call a routine play that's designed to get 6, 7 yards and guys break tackles. So continuing to get the ball in playmakers' hands, take advantage of what the defense gives you, specific coverage looks. If we get a tendency or a clip where, we make that our first read and specifically attack that coverage to push the ball downfield. Taking more shots, which we did this game. We didn't hit all of them, but we took a lot more shots this game than the previous game. And then when we have a chance to make the one-on-one catches or the big throw, we got to make it. And then a big part of big plays for us too is in the run game. And the run game, that's not just the running back. That's the line, getting them to the second level. And then that's the receivers doing a great job blocking the second level. And so the running back can explode. So it's something we talk about all the time is getting more explosive plays. And it takes every position. It's not just the playmakers. It's the line giving us time to throw the ball downfield. It's the quarterback making the right read. It's the receivers attacking the ball. It's the running backs either in pass protection or running hard with the ball in their hands.
How do you get Dietrich Mills kind of unlocked a little? He's averaging 3 yards a carry, which is considerably below where he was last year. How do you guys get some crease runs for him?
Sure, Diedrich's doing a good job. He's doing really good job too in pass protection that people don't see. They always see just the carries. First of all, I got to give credit. We've played two darn good defenses, really good defenses, and so that's a challenge. And obviously we got to rise up to that challenge and get yards and score points and win the game despite that. But Diedrich specifically, just keep giving him the rock. Because sometimes, as the game goes on, those 2 and 3 yard gains all of a sudden turn into 6, 7 yard gains. And he's one of those guys, too, that gets better as the game goes on because he's going to bring it every single snap. And giving him runs, which he does well. That's a big part of the game plan with anybody. If there's something a guy does really well, put him in that situation so he can do it.
Thank you.
Lincoln Journal-Star, Steve Sipple.
Hi, Coach. In your role, when would you like? I mean, Scott mentioned yesterday there'll be, the quarterback's going to compete for the job. In your role, when would you like to see that narrowed down during the week? When would be an optimum time?
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer because really with any position, okay, and right now we have a lot of jobs, not just the quarterback position, that are up for grabs, and so this is an open competition week. I mean, we're starting to make reps equal, which includes the quarterbacks, and just giving guys opportunities. You can make an argument that you'd like to have clear cut one, but you could also make the argument that you want to have two good quarterbacks that are ready to play, and so I don't think it's tough to give you a straight-on answer on that one and it's not just the quarterback position. We've got really good competition going on at the receiver position. We're changing some things at the offensive line. We've got competition at every position, competition. I'm a big believer. It makes you better. And because we got to see how guys respond to pressure, and competition is pressure. We're going to have pressure in the game, and guys are rising to the occasion. And so it's good. Like for example, Luke's pushing Adrian's pushing Luke, and I think that mutually makes them better.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Sean Callahan, Husker Online.
On the quarterback question, how delicate can that be to manage just through your experience when you've got two good guys like Luke and Adrian, And, what do you look for over the course of a week when you try to come up with a decision who's going to be your guy for Saturday?
Sure. Well, I could see how it could be a delicate situation. What we're very grateful for is we've got, they're two good quarterbacks, but they're two great people. And so both those guys want to win football games. And whoever starts on Saturday, the other guy is going to be his biggest fan. And I really believe that. And that speaks a lot about those two guys. So that's the first thing. From a quarterback position, we look for consistency, making good decisions. Obviously we evaluate the game, but we also evaluate practice. Who's throwing the ball on time, throwing to the right guys. They've both done a great job of making plays with their feet. But it's going to come down to who's playing the most consistent. And then, like at any position, whoever starts the game is who we think at that moment can give us the best chance to win.
Couple more for Coach Lubick. Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
Hey, Matt, where are you guys at, like drive to drive, in terms of running the offense at the tempo you want right now?
Well, so it's something we practice all the time is our tempo, and tempo is we want it to be a weapon for us. There's so many things that go into that. There's some times where, we want to help our defense out by maintaining the long drive. There's sometimes, we call it the tempo opportunity. This is an opportunity to do tempo because they're doing this. We practice that all the time. I think that's something we can always get better at. Just like anything, there's something that you can always get a little better. I think we do a good job still pushing the tempo in practice. We've kind of moved in and out of tempo in games. There's been times like in the last game where we did, especially in the 2-minute drill, where we sped it up a little bit because we had to, and we moved the ball. And part of being able to go tempo is having positive plays. And when you're moving the ball and you have a drive going, it's a lot easier to go tempo. The one thing about tempo, when you have a negative play or you have a false start and then you're behind the chains, you want to get the right play called and make sure that everyone's in the right spot and you're attacking what you want to attack, which tempo doesn't always let you do that. Okay, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Part of it's how does the defense responding to tempo? Is there a weakness the way they line up to a certain tempo formation? So we study that every day, and that's a big part of our game plan is, hey, what can we tempo? When can we tempo? But to do that, you've got to practice it. You've got to practice it, and we've done that all camp and all summer.
Derek Peterson, Hale Varsity.
Hey, Matt. For lay people outside those meeting rooms, getting Wandale more touches on Saturday seems like it would be as simple as, maybe just dialing up a couple of jet sweeps or putting him in the backfield and giving him a handoff or something. But, I know it's not as simple as that. When you guys...
That is a good observation, though. Well, it's a little more complicated on that, but what you said is stuff that we can do, and we got to do more as far as, giving him carries, just different things. And again, giving him the ball of stuff that he does well, and his skill set, he does a lot of things well. He's primarily a receiver, and they've done some things coverage-wise, and kind of just game dictations down and distance to take him out of certain progressions. But that doesn't mean, to your point, there's very simple ways that anyone can understand that we can give him the ball. He's proven he can carry the ball in the backfield. He's proven he can carry the ball in fly sweeps. And that's something that we talk about how are we going to get not just Wandale, who's a big-time playmaker, and we got to give him the ball more, but how do we get all our playmakers the ball in what they do? Like both our quarterbacks are pretty good playmakers. How do we get them in situations where they have the ball in their hands and they do? Same thing with the receiver situation. If we have a specific receiver that needs to get the ball in his hands, we think about that in the game plan, and we try to design plays to make that happen.
So you said it. You guys have played two really good defenses. Northwestern and Ohio State probably might have two of the better defenses in the conference at the end of the year. Like, is it more that they are taking him away, or is there something specific that on your guys' side of things that's keeping him from getting more involved?
Sure. I think it's a combination of things. I think, first of all, we can do a better job doing that. But part of it is the situation of the game. You might have a specific play where he's getting the ball, but all of a sudden you're in a long yard situation. That play is not ready you can't call that play. So part of it's the specific situation. Part of it's the number of plays. Part of it too is, we want to, is keep putting him in the right spot at the right time, and then part of it is with the defense. So it's a combination of things. But in summary, we're working on that, and we can do a better job getting him the ball.
Thanks, Matt.
And one more for Coach Lubick. Back to Steve Sipple, Lincoln Journal-Star.
Coach, I mean, I don't want to dwell on that game on Saturday, but I do wonder, the first three series, you had penalties that, obviously set you back. Would it be accurate to say those were tone-setting type penalties? And what was your level of frustration in the box as that was occurring?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a coach, and I know our whole team, it makes you sick to your stomach because those penalties, number one, is it's us beating ourselves. I know we've talked about it, and that's not just the people that committed those. That's everybody. That's on coaches. We gotta keep letting them hear. This is how to do it right. This is how to play disciplined football. And there's consequences if they don't play disciplined football. And at the same time, when I say it starts with the coaches. What can we have done better so those penalties don't happen? So it keeps us up at night. We talk about it as a staff. How can we rehearse? How can we be more disciplined that's way more important than any play we drop. Okay, and just rehearsing it. And then when something like that happens in a game, it just makes you sick because it's very hard statistically to overcome that. All of a sudden now, you're in 2nd and 15. So I mean, what you play into the defense's hands because now your play menu is limited, and they can play a little bit different. They could either, hey, we're going to put a lot more pressure on this guy, or we can play softer coverages where there's not as many windows to throw the ball. And so, as opposed to being ahead of the chains, where really you can call anything, they have to defend the whole field. They have to defend the run. They have to defend the pass. But when you get in those long yardage situations because of penalties, it's huge. It's a huge percentage of being unsuccessful, but it's huge for the defense that now they can just play certain plays and they don't have to give up the big play, and that's really hurts because it really limits what you can do offensively when you get into 3rd and 15, Now we still got to execute those and we still practice those situations, but it's a lot easier and it's just a lot more beneficial to the offense when you're in normal down and distances and calling plays.